Seeker here in Tulsa, and this cool boat we're about to go take a tour. We're pretty excited, so enjoy.
I lived in Columbia, and so the house colors really came from Columbia. A little town called Gia has a old railroad station painted in these colors, so I thought, yeah, that's good.
It's really
It's Mango Madness is the color name. They have a seal on them that we cast into them, and when we get ready, they'll go into the boat. We have 3 bulkheads in the boat.
So did you have to get a special kind of permit to be able to build your boat on your front lawn?
How exactly did that work?
No, well, I don't have to get a special permit to build a boat. There's the city inspector did come by.
I imagine he did.
No, she. With a cop, nonetheless.
Really?
You know? Yeah. In this neighborhood, you bring a cop nearly to everything, right? And her thing was, well, you can't have a dry dock here. It's not a dry dock. It's just a boat. Well, it's an awful big boat. Yes, it is, but you don't have ordinances, and I know because I read them 3 times slowly. Nothing about building boats in the front yard. Perfectly legitimate thing to do. He says, well, you should have gotten a waiver from the council before you started. No, that would have been the worst thing to try and do. It's like, there's no way somebody says, oh yeah, 75-foot boat in your front yard? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we're happy about that. Yeah, right. So this is our shop. And we have our deck tiles that we've been working on this week. Chris, who must be still in bed, or back in bed because I saw him this morning, did most of the carving on here, the V carving, and we set up our CNC machine to do that. Now we're getting ready to round the corners off on them because they have bolts that come up in the middle.
I'm gonna try and keep my head out. Okay, so I'll try and...
So there's only, I need actually photos of all of them. If you wouldn't mind hanging around for like 6 hours, we can go through the whole stack.
Are they all different?
They're all different.
That's wonderful.
We put them up. It was kind of surprising. I put it up on Facebook, and there's about 14 people that sponsored them. They're $50 a piece. Wow. And then I released the video onto YouTube, and overnight, from the rest of the world, the rest of them went quickly. So now I put a stop to it real quick because I want to make sure that I have full tile spaces everywhere they need to go. And so we got everything we wanted in about 12 hours. Which is really nice. We have a lot of good people out there ready to support us. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, and to be part of something that cool, you know, I mean, that's significant for people who want to help. Is that, I mean, this is a cool project.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot of people. That's why we get, now I really didn't expect that when we started, but now we get people from all over the world. Like he's flying back to Rotterdam today. Luke is, and then Chris is from Germany, and all across the United States, UK, Sweden, Britain.
And they just stay in the house, and their
got a
family
little apartment next door.
Ah.
Yeah, and when the apartment's full, we had the outdoor bed is too cold to sleep out there now, so the outdoor bed comes in here at night. And Luke had him in the shop here. He shares the bathroom with the apartment next door. I even put people up on the sofa every once in a while. But
how many people have you had at the most?
Over 100. Oh, at one time here?
One time.
Yeah. Well, we like keeping it down to about 5.
Yeah.
Staying with us 2 is okay. One's what we normally go for.
Yeah.
But after you get 5, unless they've been here before and know the routines and where tools are and stuff, I spend all my time not working on my boat, but going from one guy to the next. Keeping them busy and showing them where stuff is. So it's like. And then I don't start enjoying it anymore. So it's like, so I draw the line about 5. And we got a lot of locals, like Bart now that he lives here, and he comes over and works on the weekends. He's great because he knows where everything is. He knows the drill. And Jack and Hugh and some other guys that are local come in. They know where everything is. So it's working out really well.
So you work on this full time. Do you have another?
No, this is my weekend gig.
This is your hobby?
Yeah, I have a real job that pays for it all.
Right.
Yeah, I'm an Oracle database administrator at one of the corporations downtown.
How awesome.
Yeah.
So what is your time schedule for actually having it out on the water?
I don't actually have a time schedule for having it out on the water.
Yeah.
I think that's I used to have a countdown clock on my website that would, it ticked how many days till launch, and I stressed over that. So I thought, well, get rid of that. And I did. And I feel so much better now. So,
awesome.
I know what I want to get done today. And tomorrow I have some things in mind, but after that, we'll just work it out.
When it gets done, it gets done.
Exactly. When it gets done, it gets done. If you're not enjoying doing the work, then you're not enjoying doing the work. So
Right.
stop doing it that way and find another way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's worked for me.
No, I love it.
Okay, and let's see what else we gotta show you. All our tools are in here. All of our paint's in here. Our ROV is in here. You guys know what an ROV is?
Mm-mm.
It's a remotely operated underwater camera system with sonar on it. And I got her all covered up with plastic because I don't like getting her too dirty. But she stretches out 12 feet long, and she'll be towed. She can be towed behind the boat or the smaller tender. And everything's been pressure tested now down to 2,000 psi, so that means she can do about 3,000 feet below the surface of the water. And the beautiful thing is she has sonars on them that we've tested that work even under pressure, that are just fish finders. They're Lowrance side scan sonars and forward scan sonars. And then I've got guys that have helped me with the electronics on it. Everything is out of hobby parts. It's all bits and pieces of RC airplane. I don't do that stuff, but I've learned a lot about it. RC airplanes and RC cars and those motors, because they all come from China. They're all dirt cheap, so we can build the whole thing for probably under $5,000 when we start doing them. And what we want to do is we want to build them. There's no patents or anything like that. It's something we want people to actually do to start getting a better, because it's very expensive to go that deep. And so this is the idea, is to do it much cheaper. And so when the weather's too lousy, we work on this. Try to show you this end of it here. Pull the plastic. Lowrance will like the fish. See, there's we have 3 cameras in this end of it, each of them on a tilt. And the thrusters are just RC motors, and they've been tested in salt water. They work fine. They flood. We just let water go into them. The one thing we have to change is the bearings on them. We've done some other things to the coils to make them last a little longer, but nothing that you can't do easily. So when one bites the dust, we deep nine it, and you're out $15. So that's the whole idea, is to build it cheap, kind of like the boat. If you can build it cheap, then we can encourage other people to do the same thing. See, I want that over that plastic.
And how long did it take you to figure that out? Was it just...
It's not me doing it. I mean, I'm putting this together, but I'm doing it with other people's help. All the ideas come from, there was a guy in England that was using the RC motors that I saw for his ROV, and I just like the idea. So it's like we say we're the boat the internet built, and we really are. We get our workers from there, we get our supporters from there, we get our ideas from there. People say, well, you're a genius. I am not a genius. I barely made it out of high school. So it's like, you don't have to be a genius to do this. It's one of the things we like, emphasizing. You just got to get off your butt and get out there and start doing it. You want to go up first?
So you remember how I said I wanted to live on a boat?
This is it. That's my dream too.
Somebody else go up before me.
Sell the house, live on the boat.
Exactly.
Yeah, go sailing. But I want to do something other than just sail from one port to another, and
Right.
because I don't do the bar thing.
This is the helm.
Yeah, helm. It's actually made out of a tractor auger.
That's what I said.
This part doesn't go with it.
Yeah.
So we have
That's very.
yeah, it's geared down for us, and it goes down. It'll connect onto a chain, actually 2 of them, and then steel cables, and they run back to the rudder, and that helps. That's one of the ways of turning the boat. The other one will be a hydraulic system.
And you said 1,000-pound rudder?
Yeah, it weighs 1,000 pounds,
Wow.
but it displaces 600 pounds of water. It's hollow.
You can put it in forward.
And so when you get this out on the water, your family wants to be with you?
My family is my crew,
Okay.
and my crew wants to be with me. Yeah,
That's
sure.
awesome.
Who wouldn't want to come sailing on a boat like this?
I think it would be awesome as long as it wasn't in water.
She's afraid of freshwater sharks.
Oh, no. See, one of my big things is we're afraid of too much. Too many of us are afraid of way too much. Most of it's imaginary.
I learned how to swim because I'm afraid of water. That doesn't mean I'm not still afraid of water, but I do know how to swim
be
now.
respectful of it,
Right.
But I'm not gonna not live my life because I'm afraid of something. I think half the tiles down there are stuff I picked out. They say something to that effect.
Yeah.
We're all gonna die. We get to choose how we live.
Exactly.
We don't get to choose how we die.
The neatest thing about some of these places we've looked at that are really out of the ordinary is that people do that all over them. There will be quotes and scriptures and carvings, but
important.
that's the common thing between all of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they're building, but when they kind of go from the norm and they build it themselves, lots and lots of...
We put reminders around us to keep us focused.
Yeah.
I have, one of my reminders is a tattoo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So this is the boat with their sails. Sorry, I haven't shaved my arm lately.
It's okay, I didn't shave mine either. No judgment.
No judgments. But I do that. I do have pictures of her in the house or other junk sailboats. So yeah, I think it's important to stay positive and stay focused. And the way I do that is put reminders around.
Yeah.
And it's, it works. I recommend it to other people too. It's like, if you want something, get a picture of it, put it up on the wall.
Yeah.
And look at it every day and do something every day just to push that project a little further along. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be huge, but every day get out there and do something on it.
Yeah.
And it'll work. This is our work area. It's about 16 feet wide and 22 feet long. And if you're a marine archaeologist or oceanographer or whatever it is, your gear will come in on the crane down into here and back out and into the water and back in as much as you need. And this is where those tiles are going to go. We use plywood now so we can tear it up. Not feel bad about it. The main mast, we're going to work on that probably today, tomorrow. Comes down through here. We're going to center it up. That's the diameter of the main mast. It's big.
How tall is that mast going to be?
She has to be under 52 feet because that's the lowest bridge on the Mississippi. Just before we go into the Mississippi,
Gotcha.
the train bridge that they raise straight up,
You still have
52 feet. Yeah,
Gotcha.
we got to be
Is that
less
from
than
the
that.
water line then?
Yeah, that's from the water line. Yeah.
Okay, so you got to find out where you're floating.
Yeah, well, and that's a guess too.
Yeah.
Lots of things on this are a guess.
Okay.
The water line should be about 6 to 6.5.
Yeah.
The trim, we're not sure of. There's already more than 10 tons of lead in the keels beneath us.
Wow.
And I got another 5 tons that I can put in either fore or aft.
Just to get down that under that 50-foot mark, and then you throw a few lead overboard.
Well, no. Well, we'll use that to trim the boat to make that stiff. But the sea pay that we're putting in is so heavy, I'm not going to. There's several things we've made changes to off the original design, which there's not really any blueprints. What Jack gave me was basically where to cut the lines for the hull and close together, and where to put the bulkheads in, and basically where the mast and the sails go, and what the sails shapes are, and all that. So there's no real blueprints or anything like that. The rest of it we learned from people helping us online. We get all kinds of suggestions. We just filter through them and pick out the ones we like.
Right.
Yeah.
Your side is pretty. Some
Oh, the girls?
Is that what they are? Is
They're
girls? They
mermaids.
just look like curly cues to me.
Yeah, look a little closer. They're a mermaid. There's 54 of them spread out through the boat. That's the forward cabin. It'll be divided into 2 sections, left and right, port and starboard. And there'll be a head bathroom back off of that side. And it'll be, this area down below would be pretty much for our tankage and such, but there'll be some storage up there too. And bunk beds on both sides so we can sleep 3 if we had to on each side. Then there's going to be another cabin in the aft that'll take 2. And then the pilot house, we can sleep 2 up there.
So, have you ever watched the YouTube channel Sailing the Vagabond?
Yeah.
This reminds me of what they've done. That I think they do it with Patreon.
Theirs is what, less than half?
Yeah, and we don't do a Patreon. We will probably eventually because we'll have more expenses then.
Yeah.
At this point, my job pays for the construction of this.
Yeah.
We're good.
It would be, but I think of all the bunks you have going in here, and how many people would be excited that have been along the journey that would be like,
Yeah.
that maybe
Well,
you'd be willing to have them on your crew for a little while.
My crew will be made up of the same thing. It'll be volunteers.
Yeah.
And the people, of course, that have come to work with me, we already know them, so they'll be very likely to come on the boat, especially the ones that are interested in sailing.
Yeah.
Our real job, though, is catering to researchers and oceanographers. That is the deal. I love what Vagabond and those other groups are doing. I mean, that's your typical cruising, but we're trying to set a kind of a different niche. There's not a lot of research vessels out there. There's a lot of scientists that can get out there and do good work, but they're not able to because they don't have the funds to do it. We operate this boat and we'll give it to them for free.
That's awesome.
Free, nothing paid to the crew. The boat's built so that she can be maintained by us, and we'll have all the tools here to do that with. and then we can offer this as a research vessel.
Too old, too out of shape.
Not enough money, not enough time, no skills, too many excuses.
Right. So originally, what was the research that you were wanting to support?
When I went to high school, the one class I did do fairly well in was marine biology, and I loved it. So the research, I don't have a particular brand of research that I'm looking to support. I'm looking to support people who are passionate about what they're doing and want to do a good job of it. And there's a lot of guys out there, and girls too, they PhDs, they know their stuff, but they don't have the opportunity to get out on the water.
But no boat.
No boat. Research vessels are expensive, and there's very few of them. And the ones that do operate, I mean, they do it on a level that's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
They don't do it on our level. They don't try to do it cheaply. And so we're trying to do it cheaply. And I want it to be replicated if possible, so that other boats start thinking, hey, we could do that too. Better than sailing from just one bar to the next and one beautiful dive site to the next.
Right.
Do it with a purpose.
Yeah.
Because the oceans need help.
I like
And
that.
with the amount of plastics and fishing and all the other problems in the world going on with the seas, people don't pay attention to it because we don't spend time there. And I like what Vagabond and those boats are doing. I don't mean to knock them in any way, because they do draw attention to the oceans.
Yeah.
And to me, those are the lungs of the planet. And the thing that annoys me the most probably about them is they don't show enough about the bottom of this ocean. I mean, they sail from one port, beautiful port, to another, but there's a lot of things underneath the water that are just fantastically fascinating. And that's where I'm drawn to. My favorite research vessel, I guess, would be the Nautilus, Bob Ballard's boat, and the things that they do. But they do it, God bless them, with a lot of money. And I think it can be done cheaply. And I think it can be done by more of us. So that's kind of our goal.
I wonder if anybody's ever suggested to these like pleasure cruising, sailing channels to say, what would you think about having a crew on board that was a little bit more scientific and...
That's where I got started. You know, when I went to take my first sailing class, I tried to find a boat that would let me bring my ROV or even my dive gear.
Yeah.
And with all the plastics and the teak and the stainless, no. You know, they're not interested in having any of that scratched.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're worried when you don't wear the right shoes on deck. And this boat is not built like that. She is tough, and we will weld to the deck. If you got something that needs to be welded, we will scrape it off. You know, we will build something in our shop. We'll have a lathe and the plasma torch and the CNC, and the welders will all be here. Wow. You just can't offer that on most charter yachts. They're not set up for that kind of a business.
I'm not interested in falling. I'm sorry.
ChrisGasson.com.
ChrisGasson.com.
Yeah, so he has a lot of this. He has beautiful photos of the boat. I just take photos of the boat. He takes really nice looking ones. It's not a bad boat.
Laser rust removers. And
Now the movement is. Yeah, stop.
Okay.
Now look what you did. That's a beautiful tack.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, see that?
And she did it on tiptoes. That's beautiful.
She did. You can sit your feet down.
Well, I can't see.
No, it's real important to be comfortable. That's right. Lean into it. And that's
Am I okay
perfect.
to tack?
Yeah, absolutely. Some people get their faces right up in it.
Okay.
Like give on. Okay, now start right back there again, and let's just run a longer wheel. Okay.
It's so fun to have an audience.
There you
Right?
go.
And a camera.
Nobody's watching you.
Posting it on the internet.
Live.
Okay, so is it
Live.
Yeah.
We should have done
You're
this
probably start
live.
right there.
Okay.
A little slower. Look around the edge of it so you can see that funnel. Move the torch back the other way a little bit. Now stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop. Okay.
Stop.
It will not break.
That was awesome.
Let me show you.
Is it supposed to sit like that?
Yeah, looking good. Let me stop right there.
Nice.
That's
Much better.
cool.
Yeah. That's perfect. That's better than mine.
Hey, that's nice.
Complicated.
And your quality of weld right there is perfectly acceptable.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, do you go
You wanna weld in
school
the-
to take
you want-
classes?
No. No, you don't have to. Yeah.
What do you do with a Russian sailor? I didn't.
What do you do with drunken sailor?
This is really amazing.
Yeah,
is
so that's what
amazing.
Chris was working on yesterday. It's down in here.
And I can't get the lens wet enough.
Yeah, there's a mast step in there, which is just a piece of steel that the mast will sit down on top of. The mast goes through that hole right there. We glued a board on so we don't get rainwater in here while we're waiting on it. But we had that 2 inches to the wrong side.
You're good. I'll keep you out of the shot.
So, because the boat has a bit of a twist in it. Nothing's perfect in life. So we cut it loose. Well, it means that this side of when the boat comes up, she's bending this direction toward me.
And so what does this part do?
Oh, it's called it's a crush zone, basically, like on a car. So when we run into something that we don't want to sink us, this takes the forces of that. And then there's a bulkhead behind that, so the water doesn't flood on back into the next cabin. Most sailboats don't even have that. You don't see watertight bulkheads hardly ever, except on some expedition boats.
Okay.
And so we're kind of a little bit of an expedition boat. We're designed to be able to take a beating and survive it. Yeah.
Now
So
we know that we need to follow you. It's going to be exciting to see what happens.
We come back on when we're on the water.
right. Well, I was just thinking we could do the volunteering to sail down the Mississippi with you. So.
You know, I don't get that. Everybody wants to go down the Mississippi. That's just a muddy ditch.
Well, I'd love to go into the
Bahamas.
ocean. Yeah, right? Get out in the Gulf and go down that way.
Huh?
Is that where you're going?
We'll go anywhere in the world. My favorite target would be the Black Sea.
Oh,
Because
that
of
would
Bob
be fun.
Ballard's and all this work out there. And a guy contacted me that got me started on the ROV. He's Turkish. But the beautiful thing about that water is that ocean has basically no currents. So you can take an ROV deep without having it to be a massive ROV. A little one would do it just great. And it's got this agnostic layer of water in it. It starts about 1,500 feet, especially at 3,000 feet. And it's poisonous as all get out. So when a wooden ship wrecks and sinks in the ocean, it gets eaten up by worms and all kinds of things. It's just like a gourmet meal to everything down there, right? It tries to kill it while it's on the surface. You got wood-burning worms and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So the ship's gone in a matter of 100 years. There, it's not. In fact, they think maybe the sailors are still down there too. Yeah, mummified.
That's something else. Is
Isn't that
it
cool?
salt? Is it salt?
It's salt without
So
any
salinated.
oxygen in it.
Wow.
It's poisonous to everything that lives basically on the planet. It's just a bacteria.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Although you're in very, very, very salty water and you're going to be on a steel boat. So
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah. Salt is
paint
not the
her
friend.
real good, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's what we got testing down there below is our paint test, and that's one thing I got to work on today.
Yeah.
We got a salt tank set up, and so these paint samples are going to go into the salt tank
That much salt, yeah.
probably tomorrow.
That's
And
awesome.
So we'll know which paint to pick and
Yeah,
how long it's going to last.
right.
And the other thing about being twin keeled, we don't have to haul out,
Yeah.
which is thousands of dollars of operation. You got to pull up by a big crane with slings underneath you and lifts you out. So we'll have a deal where with the twin keels, we can find a place where the tide goes out. Park the boat on a rocky beach and let the tide go out, and everybody hops out
Oh, wow.
between tides and scrubs the bottom.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Can't do that.
And
for
these are
winter.
for when you have water come over the side to let the
Yeah.
water back out?
Freeing ports
Yeah.
or scuppers. And we have braces that go in here to hold the bulwarks in, but they're off right now because we have possibility we'll have to remove our bulwarks in order to get it transported to the port. The pilot house has to come off for sure. But it's all designed to do that. And the Dragons are actually contain water hoses that collect rainwater off the roof. All the cabin tops are done the same way. There's rays on them. We're going to put collection ports in the corners and a hose system. So once it rains, you let all the bird shit wash off and dirt and salt. And then once it's freshened up, you close the valve and it diverts all the water into your freshwater tanks. And we just ground the whole boat.
And each welder has its own ground, right? So it's grounded in a couple places. If you had
Well,
multiple.
the other one's grounded inside. And relax. Breathe a little bit. Right?
Dirtpatcheaven.
Oh, really?
In the video, so don't start it yet.
No speaking. I add music. So you can speak as much as you want to.
Tell me when you're
We're good.